So guys, it's been ages since I've actually been underneath the hood and actually did some work, right? So as you recall, what I mentioned earlier is I've had since I haven't touched this all winter. I've noticed that when I turn it on, ride for roughly about 15-20 minutes, I notice it overheats. So here are the things that I normally would do before I worry about, replacing the thermostat or replacing the water pump, taking out all this out. Before even doing that, so what I would normally do, just as an annual checkup, you guys probably do the same. If you don't, here are the few things that I would recommend you guys take a look at. First and foremost, open this up, right? Take a look at your coolant level, making sure you have enough, all right? Because at times, either it evaporates or it leaks a little bit here or there. Because if you pay attention, there are hoses that goes all the way through to the engine, to the back, to the sides, you name it. There's a decent amount. And if there's a little trickle, a little leak, eventually it's going to be low, right? Which means you're going to have a problem. My car in particular, I noticed that maybe it's the hose in the back. Maybe there's a little bit of leakage. When you first start, I noticed there's a little bit, but then it all goes away. It's actually the combination of coolant and oil that leaks. So it's a BMW, guys. So there's no magic there. But what I've noticed is from time to time, I have air in my system. So, at times when you're running, right? Especially if you're running more than 5 or 10 minutes, possibly even 15-20 minutes, open this up a little bit. Don't open up fast, okay? The breather valve. What that allows me to do, at least for my car, is that any air that gets trapped inside the system gets out, and then next you know, I drive good for a while. And unfortunately, it all comes back, and then I still have air in my system. So I still need to figure out the ultimate culprit, but at least I have, like I've got workarounds to do that. So those are the two things right off the bat when it comes to the coolant side, okay? Once you do that, you take a ride, and if you still hit a problem, then start worrying about the water pump, because if you're heating up, the highest chance is that your water pump isn't pumping the propeller inside, isn't pumping the water up into your system, right? Likewise, at times, if you don't have a crack in your thermostat, or your thermostat doesn't open right at the right time, everything builds up. So this side could be cool, but that side could be hot. And so those who have worked on thermostats before, you guys know, okay? So I'll put a link down below of the videos that I did for the water pump and thermostat, so at least you guys can see that. I may find myself doing the water pump again if my overheating is still an issue, okay? Last but not least, always pay attention to your oil. Right, so open up your dipstick, check to see where you're at. At times, it may be good to even replace your oil, but at least take a look at that as well, okay? At least then you're taking care of the two sections up front. You're taking and paying attention to the two water pump and thermostat, and you're paying attention to that. Last but not least, right, is pay attention to your hose, right? So there should be a hose right over here for the coolant. I already showed you guys these two hoses, right? There's also a hose in the back. You can't see it, and I actually have a video where I take it apart. You guys can't see it, but it's there, right? And it's almost nearly impossible to record. But rest assured, there is a hose back there, as well as a few other places. What I'm getting at is pay attention to your leaks, pay attention to those hose area, and then if you come across where you found your problem, at least you guys are better off. So I'm still hunting mine down, but the good news for me is that this is not my daily driver, so I'll play around till I get it right. When I do figure it out, I'll put a video so that you guys can see what's going on. But ultimately, these are just the few items that I would recommend you guys look at from time to time, just to make sure you're cooling your system right. Because the more I want to see you guys do this, the less the car will die on you, and the more I see on the road, and then we can wave hi to each other, okay? So once again, I'm still not back on track on building and replacing stuff, not just yet, but I will. So stay tuned, but at least you guys get some idea of what's going on. All right. So guys, took the car for a drive for about 10 minutes. It overheats right away, right? So what I've done was I said what I did, what I told you guys that I did, right? Which is I bled out the where the coolant is, right? And it went back down to 50. Right now it's a little bit higher than 50, but it was beyond 75 earlier on. Okay, so I bled that while it was running. It went down to 50, drove it around some more, and it's still staying pretty much intact, which I believe I'm in good shape. I've been driving for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes now without any problem. So I need to do that a few more times to make sure that I bled out all the air, right? And I think I should be in much better shape than I was before. This is solving my problem. It may not be solving yours. So you know, take this with a grain of salt, test out certain stuff, and go from there, guys. Do comment what you think, as well as other stuff that you guys normally do to try to solve this problem, okay?